Welcome to Spotlight on Africa, a podcast by RFI English. I'm Melissa Shimam. In this new episode, we're talking about Tanzania in East Africa after the recent general election in the country. But we also talk about cinema festivals across Europe, highlighting the powerful boom of African film production and about how music breaks boundaries and borders with a very special guest, Angélique Kidjo. The month of November is a great time for African cinema, especially in the cities of London and Paris. This week, Spotlight on Africa showcases two festivals. First, Film Africa, opening in London on the 14th of November and running until the 23rd. And the French Arab Film Festival, which is putting Tunisia at the center of its programs this year in Noisy-le-Sec. It's in the northeast of Paris, from the 7th to the 16th of November. First, let's welcome Stella Okuzu. She's the Interim Director and CEO of the Royal African Society in London, which organizes the film festival Film Africa.
Hello, I'm Stella Okuzu. Lovely to be here. So what we have had in mind really from the beginning is to amplify the voice of Africa from our location in the UK. And we're doing that through different pillars, arts and culture, business, academia, and policy. But this Film Africa really speaks to the arts and culture pillar. You know, people say to send a message across, one of the best ways to do that is to tell a story. And so we are bringing the best of Africa from the film industry. We have documentaries, we have feature films, we have shorts, and we're letting them tell their story through film in London, which is arguably one of the most vibrant cities in the world. It gets better and better each year. And for this year, we're having 50 films from 20 different countries. And something that's really special and really dear to my heart is the fact that our country of focus this year is the Democratic Republic of Congo. So because we oftentimes don't get a chance to hear positive things about DRC, but this is an opportunity to, portray that rich cultural heritage and the strong talents, even in the film industry, also from the Congo. So very exciting moments.
Was it obvious, like you saw so many films from the DRC that you wanted to have a special focus, or on the other end, did you decide to talk about the Congo and then it was a sort of a work to find films that represents different elements that you wanted to showcase?
Thank you, Melissa. So it was an intentional act, because we felt the DRC hasn't had a well-rounded showing globally. So we all know about DRC being a resource-rich country, but there hasn't been enough told about its really strong cinematic voice, its vibrant cultural heritage. And so we decided to use film specifically to highlight a lot of positives coming out of the Congo. And so for that reason, we're going to have the opening gala screening on a Congolese film. And we're going to have film producer Sami Bolaji. And we have lots of invited guests across Africa and indeed Europe who will be in attendance. So to answer your question, it was a specific intent to showcase the best of film in Congo. It's a film that talks about identity and history. That's as much as I would say. We are already having quite a huge turnout, if you will, for those films. For instance, even our opening film is already sold out. It's a film that portrays decisions around families. Now, Africans make films based on our reality, so which is so powerful. Oftentimes you find that when a film is portrayed or is based on a true story, that is even more powerful. And so that's one common thread you'll find across a lot of the films. They're portrayed using the medium of film to speak about different social issues, if you will. Things like immigration, social injustice, economic, and as well as the entrepreneurial spirit. So you can say it's a movement to portray the best of these countries and the issues at stake using a medium that is also entertaining.
And to which audience you think you're actually addressing such a festival?
That's a very interesting question, and I'll tell you why. Because while we have big stalwarts in the film industry, if you will, one thing I wanted to mention is we also have Kunle Folayon, who is a very well celebrated producer. He'll be taking a masterclass, and then we are also paying tribute to legends. So, for instance, we're going to have a tribute to a very well-known movie director. We're paying specific tribute to Suleiman Cissé. He's the legendary Malian filmmaker who sadly passed away in February 2025. So we have a mix of celebrating the legends, having the very successful people tell us how they do what they do. And then we also, an addition, which makes this session, this year's film festival really interesting, we have an intellectual piece, if you will. So we're going to have a symposium on African cinema and liberation. So what it is, we're bringing together the experienced hands, we have the new producers who are learning. So it's an opportunity to come, be entertained, and also learn from the people who have made a great success at this. So because it's important, also bear in mind, Melissa, that Africa is largely a youthful continent, and our youth are very entrepreneurial. So we're trying to pass on the knowledge from those who have done brilliantly well, and also encourage as inspiring future artists to make the most and go ahead and shine for Africa.
With all your experience, do you feel that there is a growing interest for African films? In Africa, I'm sure, but maybe in London and in the parts of the world where you also work?
Yes, there is a growing interest in African films. So there's a growing interest in Africa, and there's a growing interest in the West for two reasons. People in the West who have interest in different areas, so whether it's climate change, issues around migration, poverty eradication, are increasingly aware that the mode of cinema enables them have first-hand inkling of what exactly the issues are, in addition to whatever typical traditional research is going on. So there's a growing interest in that, also for the fact that the quality of the movies being produced is also increasing, because it's not just about the messaging and the platforms, but the quality. And having a festival like we have at Film Africa is also an opportunity for skills to be transferred between people in the West or people who are very much on the top of their game, whether it's a technical standpoint, and also the budding and aspiring filmmakers. So the interest lies across globally within Africa, of course, and in the West. In the West also, because as the quality increases, you'd find that there are more people who are watching. I'm also very proud to say that one of the movies we are screening, our opening movie, My Father's Shadow, was produced by an African in the UK, and that particular film has been nominated for Britain's Best International Film at the Academy Awards. So what we are beginning to see is more collaboration across continents. When we talk about global migration, as people migrate, they're migrating with their skills. And so we're going to be seeing more and more of these kind of moves. So I think that our festival provides that forum for people to say, wait a minute, there's a movement here. How can I be part of this? And also kindle further growth in the industry.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much.
My pleasure. I'd just like to see as many people to please come, even if you're not in London, please come, enjoy, and let's make this the best that has ever been. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure, Melissa.